We are once again back. How are you doing?
Stressed,
Yeah.
stressed, but good, but stressed. A lot has happened this year.
Yeah.
A lot.
So, yeah, Ella, guys, you can see if we go back, we rolled the tape from last time to today. There is a massive change, Diana.
I know.
You've grown up, the hair,
Yeah, the hair, the weight.
the
Yeah,
cheeks.
yeah, yeah.
So, what happened?
I started eating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, you're telling me you were not eating before?
yeah. I wasn't eating before.
Yeah.
I've always had like a difficult relationship with food.
Yeah.
And I think it stemmed from like being bullied when I was younger. So I just found it hard to like just eat. So for years I was just like restricting my eating, and that developed into an eating disorder. But then I started to like eat more and actually feed myself. And then through that, like through the recovery, I just became a little bit more healthier.
You were not eating before because you were bullied. And that affected you. I'm guessing, when was the time? When exactly were you bullied?
I got bullied from all the way in primary school, like year 4,
Yeah.
up until year 9 in secondary school. So it was consistent throughout the like primary, secondary school, and then after that I wouldn't class it as bullying.
Okay, after that, but it was still the same form of bullying.
Yeah.
But you could cope with it.
Yeah.
Okay, that is interesting. So, and that affected your way of eating. So, were you? And this is the challenge, because I'm your dad and I'm the one asking you this question. Were you supported enough that time when you were going through bullying?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were not supported when you were bullied.
Yeah.
That is one thing I have to apologize first. Let's talk at school. You were bullied because of what?
It's so crazy because when you would look at me in school, you wouldn't think, oh, I was getting bullied. But I actually got bullied just because I was black. So in my school, no matter if it was like primary or secondary school, I was the only black person in my class.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of the times I was the only black girl in the whole school, where there might have been like 3 black boys, including my brothers.
Yeah.
But I was just like single, like I was just kind of alone in it. And that had impacts in the way that like I viewed myself, because during that time, like, and especially with the bullying, like the way that you view yourself, like, oh, you're beautiful, XYZ, you don't think that you are, because you're not what the standard is, which is white. Because, for example, do you know when you're in school, you have like, oh, there's pretty people, like you have people that you think are really attractive or really nice looking. I was never on that list based on the fact that I was black.
But they always say, yeah, she's black, she's beautiful. Yeah, anyway, you're beautiful, we all know. Probably few people may, I don't really mind if they disagree with me, but I know since you were born, you have been beautiful. So you didn't see yourself beautiful because you were bullied.
Yeah. And also, I think do you know like love languages?
Yeah.
One of mine is definitely words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because when I was younger, I didn't get that from like you and mum, but also from the people around me. Let's say if it was like my siblings or my friends, there wasn't any encouragement in the way that I was looking for it. So like, do you know, in our culture, you don't often hear your parents saying "I love you" or "You're beautiful" or
just say "I love
"You're pretty."
you."
Yeah, but Dad, this
Junior, I haven't say "I love Diana" really. I haven't said it.
Dad.
Yeah.
No, but Dad,
That's Junior.
Before, wait. Before the age of 15,
Yeah.
was that common in the household? For me, like when we were growing up, was that common? It wasn't.
So I don't know.
We never said "I love yous."
So
until we, do you know when we then separated?
listen,
That's when-
you know that people are watching here, they always see me as a gentleman, as a guy who does everything okay. But look at now, 15 years ago, that was 5 years ago. I couldn't say I love you to my daughter, really. Okay, guys, you have to take that as someone who has grown up, definitely. That means I've changed a lot.
Yeah.
And I think in the last 5 years, 6 years, and so many years now, I've changed. So, okay, you didn't get support from us. I know this could be an opportunity, so I apologize to you, and that is what matters. But also, the people who are watching or will be watching can take the opportunity to understand that sometimes, because of, I'm not going to bring this as an excuse, where we come from, it's strange for me to say to my mom, and I'll say every single day when I speak to my mom on the phone or I send a message and say, Mom, I love you. And that Mom, I love you just is something that I've learned during coronavirus, during the lockdown, that I have to say to my mom, I love you every single day because I still have that opportunity. She's there. But where we come from, those words of affirmation or those love you, you're beautiful, you can, you can do it,
I'm
things
proud
like
of
that.
you.
I'm proud don't exist, or we don't say them, but there is so many other ways we do things. So we are more into people who will take action than word. But I think you guys who are growing up with the culture and the society that you're in, you need more for the parent to come there and tell you how beautiful you are, how smart you are, how hardworking you are, how you're gonna make it. Those things we have to do. So if you let's say your mom and I at that point we couldn't tell you how beautiful you are, that is horrible. So how do you feel that? Do you see yourself beautiful?
Do you know what? I think I see myself as like beautiful, because I'm a human being.
Yeah.
But in terms of like self-esteem
Yeah.
and stuff like that, that's still, because your childhood has a big impact. Like psychology shows that what happens in your childhood and the traumas that you face, and bullying is a trauma, it does impact you for the rest of your life. And if you don't resolve those issues of like low self-esteem, you'll just continue to like have behaviors or do certain things that showcase that. But I think it's been a process where I've kind of like grown to love myself, but I'm not at a place where I can say, oh yeah, I love myself.
I think this is linked to what you're doing now. So many people who are watching here may not even believe a second that you're my daughter, but I'm a proud dad. She's my daughter. She's a uni, second year now.
Second year.
And you were bullied, so you're doing a subject that is really, really close to your heart.
Yeah.
How did you end up picking that course and why? Is it because of you were bullied? Is it because my mom and I didn't support you that much that you want to be, I don't know. What happened?
So essentially, I went to college like everyone else did. But because of like my mental health and the stress of things at that current time, I ended up dropping out. And then I just did like a apprenticeship that year in health and social care. And then after that, I went back to college with the ideas of studying social science. So that's the like studying society, psychology, sociology, criminology. And essentially, I didn't really think anything of it. I thought, you know what, let me just do it. It's probably going to be like okay or good. But when I went into it, it literally opened up my eyes. Because all of the things that I was talking about behind, like in my normal day-to-day life, was now being explained by different theories in psychology and sociology. And it made me think about the different ways that we do things and why. And I think, do you know how I've always questioned things and kind of wanted to figure out things or do research?
I'm sure people who grow up or see you when you're young may confirm that.
Yeah.
You were asking so many questions. I know so many people, so many of your uncles. at least everyone that know you has a memory, a good one, about something you've been asking so many questions. But that's good. You start asking yourself those questions.
Yeah, exactly. And asking questions about society and like the world and how can we make it better for people that are like facing injustice and oppression, and that's what fueled my passion. And then all of a sudden I found out about the world of social work.
Yeah.
I had no idea what social work was. I knew a little bit, but what I knew was what the media was portraying, which was this negative light of what social work is. And I literally was between either going to do social work or being a psychologist. And there was just something about social work that I thought to myself, this is what I need to be in.
Yeah.
Because essentially the definition of social work talks about how it's underpinned by the values of social justice, human rights, and being able to provide services to people who are the most vulnerable or most oppressed in society and help them during like difficult times like we are in now. So then I ended up getting into, like, after that year, I ended up getting into the university that I actually wanted to go to, which was the University of Birmingham, which is a Russell group. And in the back of my head, I was really worried and I was thinking, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to go there. But I told myself on the first day that I went to college, that I did that access course, I told myself I'm going to get distinctions and I'm going to get into that university and I'm going to study social work.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And that year, I also focused on, which was 2019. I also focused on like eating and like making sure that I was feeding myself when I was hungry, stuff like that, and just like focusing.
So you changed from that young girl who could not eat, that young girl who didn't see herself beautiful and all that, to a grown-up Diana who start eating and doing what she loved doing. Okay. And okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity to drop something. And you were the student, what was that again? Rep?
Yeah, I had a lot at university. So I was a student rep, a student ambassador, and I was also the chair of a social work society. And it's fair to say that I was very busy in my first year of university. And throughout those different opportunities, I was able to create a lot of connections with the people in my department, the head of my department, head of like my like school, but also outside in the realm of like social work in the UK. It was crazy to think that with COVID and what was going on, social media and Twitter became a big part of building a social work community. And through that, I was able to connect with big people in social work. I was able to even write an article for the government website, which was crazy. And that was about social justice and social work. And it was just crazy how all of these things were it just fell in place. I feel like ever since I did my access course, things were falling in place and things were kind of going the right way.
I start feeling like as a dad, I did a great job here. I don't know, what do you think, Junior?
Good job.
Good job, yeah. Great, that is Junior.
Did you ever expect me to go into social work?
No.
Like, what are your perceptions of social work?
I can't talk on behalf of the whole continent or the whole race, as so many guys like me who moved from Africa to come and settle in this country or in Europe. I'm not sure if those were the path that we're gonna focus and try to learn. We came and the first thing was found a job. I'm gonna work, make money, raise my kid, have a family, and that's it. The other things were no part of us. That is why we fall into, or we are always behind things, or we don't catch up, or we don't know how to support. It's the same if you can go back to when you were bullied. I'm sure at one point you came home, you were not okay. As a parent who is aware, as a parent who has the knowledge, that could be a sign to ask, how are you? How was school? I think for me was you come back from school, everything is okay. You guys, you lucky. You go there, they give you breakfast and lunch, so you must be happy. And I don't even ask you how was the school, what happened. It's because I don't have that knowledge and understanding. I see like this is a perfect word for my daughter, for my kid. You go there, everyone is okay. We forgot about your emotional involvement and support. So when you come home, for me, is she is back. Hey Diana, bon, you were lucky enough. I'm half African dad, half European dad. Maybe that day I cooked or mom cooked or we clean up the plate, but most of the time we're gonna send you in the kitchen and straight from school, kitchen, homework, and then tomorrow morning you walk or you get a lift to
walk.
Yeah, walk is healthy for you. I wish if I did it for the rest of your life, just walking. So yeah, so as my understanding of social work was and is still limited. What I was thinking, I went to university in this country, and that was a plus. And for me, the only thing or the reason why I went to university was to be a role model in my house. Where when you come from primary school, when you come from school, from work, wherever you see dad's picture there wearing a graduation picture, it could be a degree, a master's, whatever. Your mom, the same thing. So for me, it was just go there, do what I can do, and pass, and have that picture. The rest, whatever happened with that time, so start working, I start creating stuff, I start working for ITV and all that. That was a bonus. So seeing you today, you and your brother deciding to go to university, doing the subject that you really enjoy, that is fun. I wasn't planning to say to you, Diana, you're too smart, you must be a doctor. Or you're too smart, you must be no. I wanted you to pick what you want because I knew already the experience is there is no way you're going to succeed if you're doing something that you don't love. It's that thing that they say to you every day when you wake up, you want to go somewhere, you ask yourself, it is the thing that I wanted to do if it was my last day. And if the answer is no every single day, that means you're really doing the wrong thing. So you have to love that thing that you do, that thing that will make you get out of your bed no matter what. And you're picking your subject. For me, at one point, because we used to be going with you in so many things, talking about refugees and asylum seekers, and you became too passionate about, they are oppressing people, there are so many refugees and asylum seekers, no one is helping them. I knew that is part of you because that is me. I always spend my time helping. And at one point you start talking about, I'm going to be an international lawyer, I'm going to fight for
international human rights lawyer. Yeah,
I'm going to be so that was something I knew you would be doing. And was I disappointed when you did it? No, because I was already at the point where I was open minded to know that she will pick the subject that she enjoys. And that's it. And if you don't enjoy it, this is the time for me to say to you, get out of there. So if you stay there, that means you're enjoying what you do. Yeah, so that is my view on everything that is education for you, university and all that. And then we were talking, we always talk anyway. You came up with this, the challenges that you are, or the things that you are seeing in the black communities, and the lack of either support or knowledge in terms of social working. So where are you at this point? Are you okay to start campaigning, to start supporting, to start educating people so that they know that social working exists and what are their impact in our day-to-day lives? Because so many of us, we don't know much.
It is true. Not a lot of us know. I didn't even know either. But I feel like I've already kind of started that journey of campaigning and trying to educate people about what social work is. Through my YouTube, but also like my interactions with people, because a lot of the times you won't realize that social work actually has a part to play in nearly all of your life, in different ways that you probably wouldn't be aware of. You usually think social work, child protection, taking children away, care homes, foster care, but you don't think about there's social workers that work in the NHS, work in schools, they work in charities, they work with refugees, like they can work anywhere and everywhere. But it's more about understanding, okay, why are they there? Like, what do social workers actually do?
So do you think the social working system or the social work community is supporting enough black people?
No.
Especially Africans?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So what is missing, or what you think could be a solution?
And this is something that I've been talking about and campaigning about. It's ultimately, we need to realize that the society that we live in places white voices, stories, their resources at the forefront. It places them as the only source of information. And with that, it erases everyone else's experiences and voices. And that's when we're talking about in general. But when you think about it on the different levels, for myself, being at a university that's predominantly white, all my lecturers are white except one who is an Asian man. Majority of them are male. Do they reflect the people that are sitting in those lecture halls? No, they don't. And that is something that is across the whole board of the UK. When you look at the students that are in those classrooms, they're extremely diverse, come from different backgrounds, different classes, races, ethnicities, anything that you can think of. But the people that are teaching them don't look anything like them. That speaks volumes, because it shows that to get to a certain place, you have to be a certain thing. And I think people don't realize that representation has a big part to play in all of this.
I think that is everywhere.
It's everywhere, yeah.
It is across every aspect of life. But there is this concept that especially the African communities. I know so many friends, and I've been working on the documentary for a few years on a family that the kids were taken away because of I can't reveal the reason, but I always feel like they didn't get the right support first. They were not given the right information, the right reason why the kid have to be taken away, things like that. But there is this conception in our community that when you get the social services involved in your family, is not for peace.
Yeah, and that's the notion across the board. If a social worker comes, it's all hell loose.
Yeah.
Like it's a problem.
That is gonna be the first when I see you, I know you are coming to destroy.
No. And that's the thing. The system, the social work system, the way that it's set up, it doesn't actually follow what its definition says.
Yeah.
So we are supposed to be about social justice. We're supposed to be about challenging the systems, making sure that people are getting their justice ultimately. But the way that things are set up in the UK, social workers are... It's debatable, but you could say that they're agents of the government. Yeah. So essentially, whatever the government or policies put in place, if you're a social worker that works for the local authority, so let's say you work for the Council of Middlesbrough, for example, you have to follow their policies and their guidances that they have on certain things. So you don't have a lot of leeway, or you don't have a lot of times that you can actually spend with service users. That's what you call people. But for example, it's like you have a list of things that you have to kind of tick off and do, but you have paperwork as well.
Yeah.
And it's like you have more paperwork and bureaucracy than you do spending time with people. So I could do a visit and spend like 30 minutes with someone, but realistically, I have to spend more than 30 minutes with someone to build that connection, build relationships like they're teaching us in our lectures.
Okay.
They're giving us skills that we might not end up using. And do you know what? Do you know what you were saying about how the fact that social workers aren't really helping people from different backgrounds, especially the African community. And the reason why is because they don't have cultural competence, and that essentially means that they are not aware or actively aware of the differences of cultures that other people have. So for example, let's say someone is talking in a very loud voice, and they come from like an African background. That's nothing to us because we're usually just a little bit more louder.
Yeah, that is
Exactly, because maybe in your community you need to be able to, shout to someone to let them hear you, XYZ. But in, like, let's say British culture, that's not a norm. So knowing that difference, when you actually meet someone, you can evaluate a situation and say, oh, okay, that's just how they speak.